So I'm going to talk about that elusive, difficult, despondent, and lazy teenager and how we can convert them into extremely productive members of the marketing community. Okay, maybe it does need to work now. So I worked in advertising, unfortunately, and there comes a time with many people in that world, especially the more naive and potentially idealistic ones, where you start to lose patience and start to question what you're doing and why. Different people deal with it in different ways, but in my case, I kind of started becoming a little bit despondent and moody myself. Many people even started to question the fact whether I was actually becoming a teenager myself. So if I was becoming despondent in my 30s, imagine what the actual teenagers who were receiving some of this messaging that we were churning out daily in response to likes, love my brand, imagine how they were feeling. So it's become a bit of a cliche to say that teenagers, they're disengaged from advertising and brands and media. But I would say in this world where they are given the opportunity to kind of physically jump in, manipulate, game, and mess around with their entertainment and interact with it, I would say it's downright inexcusable, especially when teenagers are actually, on the other side, extremely committed to certain things. Fans, when you don't see them as targets and start seeing them as fans, you can actually start to see that they're extremely productive, and they'll go to work for you. And this is especially important when marketers are playing in a very different ballpark these days. When you're playing in this space between, the most coveted, hard-to-reach space between the nose and the phone, you'll need a little bit of help. So what if you could actually get into that space? What if you could actually, not just metaphorically join the conversation, but physically join the conversation, get into this world, which is notoriously difficult to get into? So this is what Sympler has set out to do. By breaking down the stuff that they do like, content from the stuff that they support, from movies, from entertainment, from music, from celebrities, we are actually getting tiny little bits of content into those conversations in a way that is meaningful. So essentially, the fan or the consumer becomes a bit of a ventriloquist. They get to talk through Lady Gaga or Justin Bieber, basically by sending kind of mini video emojis on crack. We've been speaking through our celebrities and talented people for years, now we can do it digitally. So for me, Anchorman now represents thousands of clips that can be used. We're already quoting Anchorman, why not cut them down and put them into messaging and get people to digitally quote them? So a little demo here for Zoolander, for instance. Users come in and select their content.
Ridiculously good looking, really...
Regularly use that one. Add a little bit of music. That is then put together, beat synchronized.
Ridiculously good looking, really ridiculously good looking, really ridiculously good looking.
And as little time as it takes to select an emoji from your emoji keyboard, you've got a message. So instead of saying something in your own words, get a talented person to do it for you. And important in there was the fact that music can transform, not only because it lifts your message, but also because it customizes it. Makes it feel like something different from what other people potentially would have sent. So MTV now no longer needs to just rely on people, all the investment they put into the VMAs. Don't just come back and watch that again, but they can come back and use it. They can use clips of Miley Cyrus or Justin Bieber crying in their messaging for months afterwards, because it remains relevant. So the system is exactly the same. Pick a clip, add backing, send message, and keep MTV physically in the conversation. Or if you are a brand such as Pepsi, you no longer need to get in between Beyonce and her fans. Now you can actually give little pieces of Beyonce to their fans, and in doing so, maybe the consumers will like you a little bit more because you're not ruining their entertainment. You're actually giving it to them to be. So 5 years ago, if we'd walked into these offices, they might have said something a little bit like this to us if we asked to rip out.
How can you solve the feeling for 6 straight days? How can you solve the feeling for 6 straight days? How can you solve the feeling for 6 straight days?
Today, we are sitting down and talking to these people and asking to rip up their content, and they're saying something a bit more like this.
You lovely. You lovely. You lovely.
So no pop culture chat is complete without a message from Swiftie. So the laggards still amongst you, take it from Taylor.
Don't be scared, be entertained. Don't be scared, be entertained. Don't be scared, be entertained.